Hey,
Hi.
how are ya?
Okay, I don't see you yet, but I can hear you.
Okay, well, that's a good thing. Oh,
There you go.
that I have a piece of paper over my camera.
Are you going to do the virtual background?
I put one in, but
Huh?
I got my headphones to work. Oh, there I go. And hopefully that worked. So how did we do that?
Okay, so put your mouse, look at the bottom where you see, you know, participants and share screen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You see it? Go where it says stop video
Oh, right.
and hit the up button and pick virtual background.
Oh, yeah, this is the one that I didn't. I have none, so.
Oh, you have none.
Yeah, hang on. Let's try that. Oh, it says a solid color video background is required. So I can't get that in there. Oh, well.
Okay. I don't know why mine works. So I just like to pretend I'm in Florida.
Very nice. I know I'm on early, but I want to make sure I could get on here.
Yeah, Larry just texted me. He couldn't find the email with the link in it, so that's okay. We got him.
Right.
This shouldn't be too very long of a meeting.
Good. Do you know how the procession went for Sergeant Patterson?
So the chief came and talked to me. There was probably, he said, 400 police cars all over the state. He saw a police car from Gloucester County.
Wow.
You know, he said at one point there was no ceremony per se, but before they put the casket in the ground, they took the flag off of it, and they already had one folded, and they gave the flag to the chief, and the chief went over and handed it to his wife, you know, and saluted her. And then they also gave his hat to Patterson's mom. Saluted her. And then they gave his wife his badge. And the chief said he got through that and saluted everybody and walked back to the group without crying, but he said it was really hard.
I can't imagine how he did that.
Right. And then if you look on the police Facebook page, there's a picture of a mask covering that the chief's oldest daughter made with her boyfriend. She made it out of the chief's old uniform shirts, you know, to go over their mask. And on the front of it, she had a little police patch, Bedminster police patch. And then she silk screened on number 33.
Oh my goodness.
And they all wore them over, so they looked really sharp. And she made 6 extras and gave it to the family. So his wife and mom and dad and everybody had them.
Oh my gosh.
He said he doesn't want to be a funeral director ever again. Because now that's twice. He did it for Craig Meyer too.
Yeah. That's awful. And we live in.
There's Mr. Hickey. I gotta let him in.
All right, go ahead. I'm gonna go open a window because otherwise I've got too much sun on me. Be right back.
There he is.
Hopefully this won't bother too much.
Come on, do a virtual background. I dare you.
Otherwise I look like I've got.
I like it.
Come on, I'm on the beach in Florida.
I love it. I love
That's
it.
a little better.
Let's see. I should put on a virtual background.
Hello.
Here she is.
I just want to put some lights on, so I just opened up the window a little bit. Otherwise, you just see the light from the desktop. I mean, the laptop on me. Looks awful.
But you're looking very modern with the hanging pots in the background. I
Yeah,
love
but pot. You look like, you know, a pothead.
it. Be careful, we're recording here.
I was trying to figure out where else to sit, but this is the easiest place for me. So,
Looks good.
what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Oh, 7.
7 o'clock, which is now.
You're talking to somebody down the beach?
No, yeah.
You got the chair
Went by
next to
running
her.
on the beach.
Nice. Is he gonna get you a drink with a little umbrella in it?
Oh, he did that already.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah, the chief said he will not be joining us tonight.
Yeah, understood.
I don't blame him.
He's going home for a well-deserved rest.
Absolutely.
And he's working from home tomorrow, he said.
It's gotta be hard.
You can't do virtual backgrounds on the PC version, I don't think.
I just did. That's what mine is on.
Yeah, how'd you do it?
So go to the bottom,
Yeah.
go over to the left-hand side where it says stop video,
Oh.
click the up arrow,
Yep.
and pick one.
Good.
I had to put one on, but it still won't work because it says something about having to have a solid background behind me.
A green screen.
Judy, do you just have a wall?
Yeah, I have a wall behind me.
I could put up a sheet.
Just curious.
I'll be back. I'm going to go for another walk.
Okay.
You said they're out of rum.
Yeah, he's going for another walk on the beach.
For him.
Did you find it?
No, I found it. I was looking for something that would be good, but.
Oh, that's better. a little better.
Grab one thing, I'll be right back.
We have a member of the public coming on.
All right. I recognize that name.
I thought you would. And she called me today, which is what we talked about today. Could she come to the meeting and could I share the link? So I did.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone. Is there a way to move me to the side or something so
No.
I'm not part of your dais?
Yeah, you people will move around as we go.
Okay.
Carol's gonna be front and center the whole time. Judy,
It
fix
looks
her in the
like
middle.
I'm sitting up there with you.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
We're happy about that. That's okay.
Hey, I'm at the beach in Florida, so yeah.
I see that, Judy. Nice going. All right,
There
I'll
he
mute
is.
myself.
Who let the mayor in? I didn't let him in.
Does he have his own link now, like you said yesterday?
He's on Township Wi-Fi, so I think it lets him in automatically.
And Gina is looking for the email, so I'm gonna send that to her right now.
Oh, I sent it out this afternoon.
She might have misplaced it or might have accidentally deleted it.
Not that we
the
get a
one,
lot of emails.
Judy, the one from this this afternoon did not have it, so I had to go back to the one you sent just a couple days ago.
Okay.
I'm gonna forward to Gina right now.
And Colin,
Yeah.
I let an angry Mimi attack my head with clippers.
And you still have both your ears?
You're only looking at me from this side, so.
Joe Haggerty did his own over the weekend.
I was this close to doing that too.
Well, I noticed yesterday you took the beard off, so that's a good thing.
I could, yeah. You know what? I thought beards were easier until I realized that there was work associated with beards.
Oh, there's a lot of work with them.
No. Once I realized there was work, I got enough of that. And Judy, I went to my office, I copied all the agendas, I copied everything, and then I left them at my office.
I can share them on the screen. Would you like me to share them on the screen?
No, because I've actually got them up on my screen, so I'll just once in a while just.
Yeah, okay.
I'll
You know,
switch
we
screens.
could share them. Oh, here comes Gina.
There she is.
Hello.
Here she is.
So Judy, I think we're gonna, after we do the Pledge of Allegiance, before we go into the approval of the minutes, we'll do a moment of silence for Tariq and for the 4 deaths we have. And
Sure. I put the proclamation under my report, but you can do that whenever you'd like.
yeah, I'll do the proclamation right after the moment of silence.
Oh, we have another member of the public, someone named Mimi.
Ah, she's checking on that haircut, Mayor. All right, Gina, we're all jealous because of all the Facebook postings of the high school photos, you look the most like your photo.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, I probably am the one with the least amount of time since the photo.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
helps
thanks
too.
a lot. Ooh.
I'm not touching that. I don't know how to do it. It keeps saying copy and paste. I can't figure out what to copy and where to paste it. I'm not very good at this stuff.
Let's see if I can. There we go. Judy, where are you?
I'm on the beach in Florida, can't you tell?
I'm so jealous.
You can pick your own virtual background.
You can?
Yeah.
On your phone or you?
Go to the bottom of your screen.
Oh, yeah,
and
virtual.
go over to the left where it says stop video. Hit the little up button.
Oh, wait, I did it.
Look at you. You're in San Francisco.
Still social distancing there. So
Oh, here comes Mr. Florida.
it's a better one.
How come some people have different options and I have none?
I don't know.
Are you on a iPad?
Not that I know of.
What are you using? Your phone? Your
No, I'm on my work Ultrabook.
oh, yeah, you should definitely have all the options then.
It doesn't. It has just a black thing. Says oops, wrong thing.
Did you scroll over the bottom?
Yeah, it says choose virtual background. None.
Oh,
Then
Oh,
click add.
Yeah, add image or video, and I did that, but then when I tried it, it said I have to have a solid screen behind me in order to add it.
Got it.
oh.
All right. Hopefully we won't have
Pretty
too
good.
many more of these.
I like the modern look of the kitchen, I gotta say. It's good.
it works. It works.
It's a place I never see.
Okay, so we're just waiting for Doug. Oh, Robin is coming in.
All right. Came in and she disappeared. There she is.
Hey,
There's Robin. Fresh off another day at the food pantry.
She had people coming this afternoon. She was busy all afternoon.
Never stops.
I just walked by there. There's a lot of stuff there.
A lot of
That's
stuff.
great. That's such good news.
That's great. That is
A lot more
great.
drop-offs today. A lot of very generous people. Amazing.
That's great.
Yep, absolutely.
Should I call Doug?
Does he know we have a meeting today?
I hope so.
Because we had one yesterday. Maybe he's
Well, you know.
confused.
The mayor and I have one every day, so, you know.
There you go.
do we not get to see John today?
He didn't do video. He's just on.
I'm here.
Can't see your handsome face.
I know.
By design.
It's easier for me to work with notes and books and everything strewn around me rather than having that on video.
That makes sense. Video's not for everyone. What's that song?
Man,
Video killed
The radio star.
meeting right now. Yep.
First video ever played on MTV.
And it was right.
Back when MTV had music. See, I do remember that.
No, you don't.
I do.
No, you don't. No, you don't, Gina.
It was repeats.
Stevie Fuentes and
Oh my God.
I do.
I need this.
Okay.
I think Larry's on the phone with Doug.
All right.
It's still working awful. No, I want it brighter. It's fine.
Okay, got it. All right, see you soon. All right, so Doug is going to be a little late. So Judy, if whatever you need to do to get us going, we'll start without.
We're already good to go.
Okay, well, thank
And I'll
you.
watch for Doug. Is Doug going to be a little late or a lot late?
It'll only be about 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
All right, so thank you, everyone. This is Mayor Larry Jacobs. We'll call the meeting to order. I'll notice that we have quorum of the Township Committee with Committeewoman Mareski, Committeewoman Fernandez, and Committeeman Stevenson, all in attendance. I'm sorry, Committeeman Hickey. in attendance. Committeeman Stevenson will be a few minutes late, and he will join us while we're in progress. Ms. Sullivan, may we please have the open meeting facts statement?
Yes, adequate notice of this regular meeting of the Township Committee was sent to the Courier News in Somerville and the Burnsville News in Whippany to all subscribers, also posted here at the Township Municipal Building on January 7th, 2020.
Great, thank you. To the extent you can, please join me in standing for the meetings.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one
One
nation,
nation, under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty and justice
for all.
Okay, that was actually that was a horrible pledge. Let's.
We will never be a
We
virtual
did much
chorus.
better last week. And before we start the meeting, I would like a moment of silence for Sergeant Alteric Patterson and for the 4 COVID deaths that we've been reported for residents of Bedminster. A moment of silence. So today was Sergeant Patterson's funeral. I spoke to the chief, and I know Judy and I know the rest of us have been on and off with the chief for the last week or so. This was a hard funeral to do for a number of reasons, obviously, and with the social distancing requirement and the ban on public gatherings more than 10. It was hard for the family and for the police departments of New Jersey to give the recognition that they typically do. And it was pulled off today, and in no small part to the efforts of Chief Carl Rock. So the reports that I've heard is that there were about 400 police vehicles from all across the state, and maybe even from out of state, that did a procession for Sergeant Patterson. They were able to get a rifle salute, bagpiper, and trumpeter, and it was all implemented with social distancing. And with great respect to Sergeant Patterson and his family. The Township Committee put together a proclamation, and if you don't mind, I'm going to read it real quickly. The proclamation was prepared. Asked Judy to take some of the comments that both I and Steve Parker and the chief had given regarding Sergeant Patterson, and we compiled it, and then we edited and re-edited it. And the purpose of the proclamation was to give copies to the family in recognition of Sergeant Patterson's service to Bedminster. And I asked for extra copies to be made, to be given to his children, who are just about, the oldest is 9 and the twins are 2.5. And I wanted them to have copies as well as the parents and his wife, because I thought it was important that the children, years from now, maybe when they're getting married, they can pull up that proclamation and know what Sergeant Patterson meant to the folks in Bedminster. So if you mind, it's one page very quickly. Proclamation from Bedminster Township. Whereas it is with deep regret and sorrow that Police Chief Carl M. Rock and the Bedminster Township Police Department announced the passing of beloved Patrol Sergeant Al Tariq S. Patterson, who fought a courageous battle against COVID-19 and who unexpectedly passed away early Easter morning, April 12, 2020. And whereas, after his graduation from the Somerset County Police Academy, Class 3505, in December 2005, Al Tariq S. Patterson was appointed to the position of patrolman with the Bedminster Township Police Department on January 1, 2006. And whereas, in recognition of his hard work and commitment to professionalism, Patrolman Al Tariq S. Patterson was promoted to the rank of Patrol Sergeant in October of 2014. And whereas, from the beginning of his tenure with Bedminster Township, Sergeant Al Tariq S. Patterson epitomized public service with his dedication to community-driven policing and his unique ability to connect with the residents of Bedminster Township. And whereas Sergeant Al Tariq S. Patterson, with his charming smile, calming demeanor, and sense of fairness, was recognized by the Bedminster residents as the face of the police department. And whereas Sergeant Al Tariq S. Patterson was perfectly suited for the Bedminster Township Police Department. He touched the lives of many residents during their times of need. A professional who rose rapidly through the ranks, he was a gentleman while also a fierce guardian of the public safety. And whereas Bedminster will miss Sergeant Al Tariq S. Patterson. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Township Committee of the Township of Bedminster in the County of Somerset that we extend our grateful appreciation to the Patterson family for sharing with us their devoted son, brother, husband, and father, Al Tariq S. Patterson, and for his years of service to the Bedminster community. Be it further resolved that Sergeant Al Tariq S. Patterson, his family and friends, as well as the Bedminster Township Police Department, all be remembered in our prayers during this difficult time of loss. And it is authorized by the Bedminster Township Committee. So thank you, everyone, for working up the proclamation. And once again, thank you to Police Chief Carl Rock for providing that proclamation to the family today. So we will cover some more COVID-19 related incidents or issues later in the meeting. For now, we will move on with the approval of minutes. We have 2 minutes to approve. That's the April 6, 2020 regular Township Committee meeting minutes and the April 6, 2020 closed session meeting minutes. Everyone have a chance to review those minutes and provide comments if you have any. I'll take that silence as a yes.
No comment.
Okay. May we have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, permits and raffles. So we have two permits and raffles. Read them both off. First is the fireworks permits for a fireworks display scheduled for May 24, 2020 at approximately 9:30 p.m. at National Golf Club, 900 Lamington Road, Bedminster, New Jersey. And the second is the fireworks permits for a fireworks display scheduled for July 18, 2020 at approximately 10 o'clock p.m. at Trump National Golf Club, 900 Lamington Road, Bedminster, New Jersey. Judy, quick, any comments about?
Well, I was contacted by the head of security out of Trump National, Rob Totten, who normally provides these permits to us. He sends us a copy, goes to the fire official, a copy goes to the police chief, a copy goes to me to present to the township committee. Normally he would come before us. I told him that wasn't really required tonight since his applications are always the same. He always uses the same vendor. These have been reviewed by the fire official and the police chief. They have no issues. Mr. Totten indicated that they're bringing these forward, but there's also a chance that they might, one or both, be also canceled due to, the COVID emergency. So they're moving forward. They hope to have the May 24th fireworks are in celebration of Memorial Day, and the July 18th are for a wedding. So if both are able to be held, then they'll continue with the fireworks. So they're kind of a pending at this point.
Okay. I guess we'll see. We'll see. Time to tell about if certainly May and even the July one. Okay. So we have one public comment session for this meeting, and Judy, that public comment session starts.
We need to vote on the permits.
Oh, I'm sorry, on the fireworks. Any other questions or comments regarding the firework permits?
No questions.
No.
Okay, can we have a motion to approve the permits and raffles?
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed? None? Thank you.
Okay, public comments. This will be the one opportunity for public comments for this township committee meeting.
We have 3 members of the public with us this evening. What we did the last time, and it seemed to work very well, was I called on each individually and see if they had any comments. The first being Carol Bianchi. I'm going to unmute her.
Thank you.
P&L.
Here I am. I wanted to wish you all a good evening and oops, my video turned off again. Let me try that. Okay. I wanted to thank you for allowing me to join your meeting and wish you all well during this challenging time. I also wanted to offer condolences to Sergeant Patterson and the Bedminster family and for his passing. I was invited to also provide a brief update, which I'll take that opportunity to do right now. Periodically I'll update you on outages in Bedminster. And as you know, on April 13, we had a high wind event, and it impacted our service territory of about over 37,000 customers throughout the territory. In Bedminster, there was a transmission trip on the Burnsville-Merck line, and that affected customers out of the Greater Crossroads substation. Fortunately, the outage, it occurred, I don't know if it's fortunate or not fortunate, we wish it never happened at all, but it occurred at 4 a.m. and it was restored by 5:30 a.m. And while the winds continued on April 14 to a lesser degree, there was no further incident in Bedminster. And I'm happy to report that no customers served out of the PPAC, Chambersbrook, or Somerset substations were affected. I would say that the reliability measures that we have taken are working, I hope you would all agree. Fewer impacts in our territory. We did extensive vegetative management, the enhanced vegetative management, which I've advised you about previously. We see that making a big impact. That's in addition to our 4-year cycle of vegetative management. In addition, we installed 2 trip savers on the Greater Crossroads substation in that area to serve those customers, and that also is a help. So that's the update on outages. And I also want to tell you that on April 18th, it was National Line Workers Appreciation Day. And I will be sending a video to you later celebrating our line workers, because as you know, they continue to work during this time despite the challenges. And we're just very proud of them and want to recognize them and all the employees who are keeping the lights on at this time. So that's my update, and I'd be happy to take any questions that you might have.
Thank you for your comments, Mayor Bianchi, and we appreciate the sentiments regarding the passing of Sergeant Patterson. Any questions regarding JCP&L's service?
No, just again, just to echo the mayor's comments. Thank you, Mayor Bianchi, because as I mentioned last time in the meeting, you know, we're all confined to our homes. We're suffering through the pandemic. It could only be worse if we lost power, right? Then we'd be totally miserable. So thank you to you and your team for keeping the lights on.
Thank you very much. Thanks for letting me join you.
Thank you.
I'll take myself off video for the rest of the meeting.
Okay, I'm going to go to our next member of the public, which is Mimi Jacobs, and I'll unmute her. Any comments
Hi.
from Mimi Jacobs?
No, no comments, thanks.
Okay, thank you. And now I'll go to Charlie Z from the Burnsville News.
Greetings all. Thank you very much. No comments.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, with that, we will
That's it.
continue with the meeting. We'll recognize that Committeeman Stevenson is on the Zoom call, so he is in attendance.
Good evening, everybody. I apologize for being a little tardy tonight.
No problem. So, Doug, for joining now, you get to lead off with a monthly report discussion.
Well, that's good, because mine's easy, Mayor. I really have no update. Ms. Moreski covered for me on the last Historic Pres. Susie's cousin, as I may have mentioned at prior meetings, has decided to, of all places, to plop down in Bedminster. So welcome them to town, but they're going to be before the committee. So Renee, thank you for covering Historic Pres. And nothing really to update on DPW. We sort of know where we stand there, and we're going to try to see if we can get some projects going, as we talked about at our last budget sessions, but no formal updates for me.
Okay, just on real quick on DPW, I will note that I sent an email to John that the basketball courts at Pluckman Park, that's Pluckman Schoolhouse Park, were paved today, and that he anticipates being able to finish them with the surfacing in 2 weeks.
That's great. That's
So,
great.
you know, Judy, unless you or Robin have any details on it.
On the park. Robin, you got anything on the park? No.
Okay. Committeeman Hickey.
Thank you, Mayor. Rec, obviously, we did not have a committee meeting. I know Gina, later on in her update, will have some virtual rec updates in terms of some programs that we're going to be rolling out. Board of Health did not meet in April. Our next scheduled meeting is for May 21st. And that's all I have right now. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Committeewoman Moreski.
Good evening, everybody. The Environmental Commission did get to meet through a Zoom meeting on April 15th, and they were looking at the Bedminster Farm property subdivision. The applicant came before us virtually, which was a little bit difficult, but everybody had a hard copy of the map, so commissioners got to ask some questions. Most of them had to do with things like tree removal, perhaps shortening up driveways to properties, and a couple of questions about the homeowners making sure they buy the property and will farm the land. The purpose of the project is to have basically a co-op of I think like 7 properties. People will buy the properties and then all properties will be farmed together. It's a real interesting concept, and looking forward to that kind of thing working out. So the committee liked all the answers. They were comfortable with everything, and they will issue a statement so that the applicant can move forward with the things they need to move forward with. They're not asking for an environmental impact study of any type.
Okay.
Other projects that were going on, such as the Salem Oak seedlings and the stream cleanup, are obviously on hold until further notice. Their next meeting is scheduled to be May 6th. We'll see if it's held. You know, if we still can't do anything better than social distancing, these projects won't be able to move forward at that time. So we'll see what happens at the 6th. JVH, I think I mentioned last time, their meeting was postponed until April 29th. And then, as Doug mentioned, I was the representative at Historic Preservation meeting, which was also a Zoom meeting held on the 16th. So there were a couple little approvals on fencing projects, one at the 95 Somerville Road property and one at the 2460 Lamington Road property. Both fencing projects were approved by the committee. And then the bigger project they were working on is a preliminary approval of building materials for the Elite property on Lamington. The contractor showed us a board with the different kinds of material they're anticipating using. And as everybody who's been on these Zoom meetings knows, that it's hard to see colors and things on computer screens, and everybody's screen is a little bit different. So while they agreed basically with the different colors, the bricks, the cements and paint colors, they weren't going to give a complete sign off yet. They are asking the contractor to do kind of a sample board using the different materials just before they get started. So Historic Pres will take a look at that board and then allow them to move forward. In the meantime, Sean Blinn was just asking for some copies of photographs of the different houses that were on the properties as a matter of historical record. And that was pretty much all that happened at that meeting.
Okay.
And that's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Committeewoman Hernandez.
Okay, hello everyone.
Hello.
My phone keeps freezing, so that's why I keep moving around. So hopefully I have signal here, but I just want to give you a few updates. So Fall Fest meeting was rescheduled for later this month tentatively, so I'll have an update hopefully after we meet. Currently I'm looking at the personnel policy with our HR director, looking to just amend a few sections or specify use of some time during absences and also including information about FMLA and the short-term disability and when that kicks in. So I'm looking at that. And then also, like Colin mentioned earlier, we're looking to do some online rec programming for the near future. Reached out to the rec advisory committee for ideas and for free online rec programming while people are staying safe at home and social distancing. I'm excited to say that Robin and I have received 4 or 5 programs, including how to juggling videos, arts and crafts, music, possibly coming soccer tricks, how to, like soccer ball tricks, and even possibly a little Spanish program. So we're just looking at the specifics of uploading these programs. What's the best way to roll this out? A YouTube channel, we're not sure yet, but they will be rolling out shortly. And that's all.
Great. Gina, I just have a question. So how are you, as a teacher, how are you teaching your students remotely at this point? Is that working?
Well, a little bit of everything. So mostly we're creating lessons. I do a lot of YouTube videos. I have a YouTube channel of my own, and then the kids will just watch me teaching because it's really hard to teach from home, and parents, you know, didn't go to school to be teachers. It's a little frustrating for them. So we do answer 1 million emails a day, a lot of technology issues, you know, the volume's not working on this website or this program's not working, you know, you need an IT guy. But we're just trying to make it work. So the students really miss school, teachers really miss school. I promise I'll never complain about a Monday morning again. And we're just trying to make it work. So, but mostly I'm doing YouTube videos because I teach language. So it's hard to teach a language if a parent doesn't speak that language.
And with the YouTube videos, so you're not necessarily getting the give and take that you get on Zoom, but
No.
apparently, it's going to be hard to teach a class of 20 or 30 using this format.
Right.
Are you getting a response back from the kids or from the schools?
Yeah. So I use Google Classroom, so they'll like watch the video and then we communicate through Google Classroom. So they can like respond or turn anything in that I need them to turn in. So yeah.
I asked the question because it's just curious as we're all going through this remote, whether it's lessons or remote meetings, to see what technologies are being deployed and what's working, what the response is. I will say that from just as Renee described the HPC and EC meetings, these meetings are being set up and no small part through Judy. And, we've been, both Judy and I are on these daily phone calls with the county and the county debriefs and getting hit with constant emails every day. And the format that we've selected, Zoom with audio participation, is actually, I won't say it's probably one of the recommended manners from DCA and Division of Local Government Services. They actually put together that little outline saying, hey, don't stop having meetings. Word from Trenton is keep having your meetings. And if you need to do them remotely, use this format, use this format, use this format. These are recommendations. These are recommendations to avoid Zoom bombing. And, it seems to be working. So HPC and EC, both with relatively busy agendas for those meetings. Paul and I attended the library board meeting last week by Zoom. And it's really, as far as library update, library is implementing a number of programs as well. And I think they've coordinated that with the town and with Robin on a certain yoga program. I think what we heard, Colin, correct me if I'm wrong, is that the yoga attendees through the library, there's been no reduction in participation with the remote platform. So the same number of people who were attending the yoga classes at the library are attending them remotely. So I thought that was very interesting, and perhaps some expanded, media push, they might be able to even go bigger than what they had prior to. So that is all working. Let's see. So quick update. So as everyone on this call knows, and we talked about this briefly at the last meeting, is that we have kept our parks and our hike and bike trail system open. We did so, once again, after consultation with the Somerset County Health Director. And the specific question that we posed was, is there any public health rationale for closing the parks so long as social distancing is being practiced? And the answer was no. There was no public health reason to close the parks if social distancing was being maintained. So with that, Township made a decision. And I think you guys know my feelings on this, that this is the right decision, to keep the parks open with the caveat that social distancing be employed and continued to be maintained. Once again, the playgrounds are closed. We can't assure anyone that they'll be properly cleaned. Group sports are closed, and gatherings greater than really immediate family should be prohibited. And, I've been driving around, I've been going to the parks, I know everyone else here has been as well. And frankly, I see it being practiced. Social distancing is being practiced. And the word I have heard from residents is that they are very happy that the hike and bike trail system is open and that the parks are open. So I do ask, once again, everyone to maintain social distancing at the parks, because if it's not being practiced, then we'll be left with no other choice but to close. So we will continue that and keep up the observations. The Bedminster Pop-Up Pantry started last week. And the Bedminster Pop-Up Pantry, so, we were getting phone calls about people wanting to volunteer. How could they help? How could they help the less fortunate? Could the township put these volunteers in direct touch with people who need? And, I was certainly hesitant about taking volunteers, unvetted, and putting them in contact with folks in need. So we made the decision, rather than do that, then let's set it up. We can operate this. We've got the staff in hand. We have an empty parking lot, empty driveway, a largely empty building, and that we could use the Bedminster facility to receive donations and to give donations out. And I'm just going to real quickly ask Committeeman Hickey and Robin Ray just to describe your experience, what's being dropped off, who's picking, the people that are picking up, what's being asked of them. And with that, if the two of you could just give us a quick description.
Sure. I'll start off, and Robin, please fill in the blanks. First off, a shout out to Charlie, because I think the original inspiration for this is we read about it in the Burnsville News and what Salma Habibi was doing over in Glasgow and in Burnsville. And, Robin and Ray and I put our heads together and figured out we can do this too. And we went from something that was sketched on the back of a napkin to a fully operational food pantry in about a week's time frame. Last week we had 108 drop-offs, and we were able to feed 49 families who picked up. Today alone, we had 30 more drop-offs and 5 pickups, and we weren't even open for pickup business because that's normally Tuesday and Friday. But people showed up looking for food. We were happy to provide it. There was a question early on, is there a need for this? Will there be any demand? Clearly we have that answer, yes there is. Our residents have been amazingly generous. We have folks showing up every day, dropping off bags of groceries. I know Robin is getting emails, I'm getting phone calls, we're seeing Facebook posts. What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? And we've been putting that out to the residents, and they've been amazingly responsive. I got a message last night. The resident said, what do you need? And I said, well, one of the things we need is tuna. And he messaged me right back and said, you'll get 160 cans of tuna delivered on Tuesday morning. I'm like, wow. We had it was amazing. We had a couple that showed up today, boxes and boxes and boxes of food. And he said to me, I got my stimulus check and I used it to buy food for folks who need it. Blown away. Epicure Foods, who's owned by a local resident, they delivered 52 cases of crackers the other day. Again, the generosity of our residents is it's both humbling and amazing. And I also want to need to give a shout out to Robin. She's been my partner in this endeavor. Her amazing talents at planning, organizing, implementing, and then tracking all this has made the difference and made it all happen. And Judy, thank you for your support, for making members of your staff available.
You do a virtual clap. I'm doing a virtual clap.
I love it.
There you go.
Thank you, because that's everyone, I think, who's been involved with it found it to be a very worthwhile and very rewarding experience. And Robin, I've talked too much, so please chime in and add your observations. You're on mute.
Oh, wait a minute. There you go.
Okay, well, I just want to echo what Colin has to say. I mean, we didn't know how it was going to go. We're really we opened the doors. We put the word out on a Saturday, and that following Monday, which was a horrible rain day, we had our first deliveries. And that Tuesday, so within 3 days, we were able, that first Tuesday, we had 19 families that we fed. So that was an amazing turnaround, just getting the word out. And the residents have been very, very generous, as Colin said, just willing to help their fellow neighbors in need. So we're truly appreciative of everything that everyone is doing, and people are spreading the word for us as well.
Yep.
So we've done all the normal channels that we usually use to get the word out to the community, but it's our residents that are really helping us get that word out. So it's been great.
And it's all being deployed with social distancing, both with drop-off and with pickup.
Yep.
Yes, it is. Yep.
And
We're ready to go for tomorrow. We have 45 bags made up for tomorrow morning.
which we do anticipate will go through based on last week's numbers. So we're ready to go.
Okay, so on my way out tonight, since I'm taking this meeting from Town Hall, I will take a quick picture. And if, since Charlie's on mute, we can keep him on mute, but he's going to get a picture of everything lined up. Okay, so thank you guys on that, and really proud to have that happening here and with the township staff working through this. This is great. And once again, call out to the volunteers. So folks who are looking for something, a way to help, a way to participate, drop off the food and spread the word. So the other thing that we're looking to do is, and I talked about this a little at the last meeting, is that as soon as the governor's office gave the all clear on running a blood drive, my first call was to Zach Rubin. Let's do this, and let's get it done soon, since we are in a dire situation with blood inventories. And Zach reached out to the American Red Cross, and I think it was Judy who said, let's reach out to the school they've got the largest public room available, which would be the Bedminster Township School cafetorium. So I know Gina has reached out to the school, and the date we're tentatively looking at, I think Zach needs to lock this down with the Red Cross, is May 15th. And it's funny, the word back from the Red Cross is, well, May 15th might be a little early. That might be too soon to get the word out. And they don't know the folks in Bedminster. May 15th is not too early. That with this township committee and our staff and the residents and volunteers, I am sure that May 15th will be plenty of time to line up participants for the blood drive. So Zach is going to follow up with that. And Gina, if you don't mind, if you could follow up with Zach and put Zach and the school, make sure that we can nail this down as soon as possible. I'd like to get this so we could get all the word out there. Dump day. It's always a happy time in Bedminster when the dump is open. The dump will be open this Saturday, April 25, from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're not charging residents. All they need to do is to demonstrate Bedminster residency. There'll be, once again, no charge for drop-off of either brush or garbage, or I'm saying garbage, but it's the household.
Bulky waste.
Bulky waste, not garbage, bulky waste. And strict social distancing will be employed. So whether we allow one vehicle in at a time or two vehicles in at a time, strict social distancing. Folks are home, they're cleaning out their house, they're cleaning out their garage. They need a place and an opportunity to get rid of all the stuff they've accumulated. Let's run dump day, bring a sense of normalcy to folks. Also on subcommittee, but this is sort of larger, is that we are hopeful that we wrapped up the 2020 budget. We certainly did so. We had a meeting that was over 4 hours on Sunday, and we believe that we've addressed the COVID-19 economic crises and factored that into how the budget is going to operate for the rest of the year. And Judy, moving forward from today, what's your anticipated timeline for?
So Debbie Stern, the CFO, and myself were in contact today with the auditor, putting together a timeline. We hope to introduce on our next meeting, which is actually May 4th. And then we have to do all the appropriate notifications and postings and submissions to the state. And we would have our public hearing and adoption of the budget on June 1st.
Okay, we continue to keep our eyes open on any legislation, either at the federal level or the state level, that may impact or cause other changes.
Who's it? Daddy? Caroline? Nolan? Mikey? Mom? Is it 5 or 7 cards, Nolan, Mikey?
Thank you, Judy.
Sorry.
So we're watching this legislation to see if there's anything that's going to change it. I think a lot of the legislative fixes and are frankly more appropriate to municipalities that are already heavily debt-ridden. We are not. So a lot of the fixes that are being discussed may not necessarily apply to our situation here in Bedminster, but we will continue to keep our eyes open and all of us following, and I know Doug is following this particularly carefully to see if there's any opportunities that might cause us to take a different approach with the budget. With that, Ms. Sullivan, may we please have the administrator's report?
I have a couple things. So as you've probably heard, the primary election has been moved to Tuesday, July 7th. However, there is still a discussion about making the primary a total mail-in election that day by mail-in ballot. That they're still finalizing those plans if that's to happen. So in the meantime, we are dealing with the primary being moved to July 7th. Now, what that did for Robin and I, we have to confirm with all our polling locations this new date is acceptable to them. And the Pluckerman Presbyterian Church that houses districts 4, 5, and 6, they have their summer vacation Bible school in July, and they use all the rooms at the church, and they cannot accommodate us at all on July 7th. So I had to notify the Board of Elections that those 3 polling districts would need to be moved. And of course, the best place to move them would be Town Hall and combine them with District 1. So we'd have District 1, 4, 5, and 6 at Bedminster Town Hall. We can accommodate them there easily. And the town, as a result of that, needs to notify by mail all the voters in districts 4, 5, and 6. And that's on Bedminster, not on the Board of Elections. So the Board of Elections sent me a listing today of all the voters in districts 4, 5, and 6, and we would need to create a letter to send to them. We would also need to provide proper signage, and Robin's a master at signage, to provide at Pluckerman Presbyterian Church to tell people if they should go there in error, where they need to go to vote. So that's what we're working on for the primary election. So we'll see. Also, John Mance was up at the school today and had a meeting with Superintendent Giordano and School Board President Jeff Reeves and Board Administrator Alicia Shower regarding the paving of the school parking lot, which is a capital project they were looking to do over the summer. Since the children are not in school, they decided, well, hey, why wait? Do it now. The estimates that the Alicia Shower received were in the $400,000 to $500,000 range. And John Mance reached out to one of the contractors that we use through our Morris County Co-op, and we came in with a bid of somewhere between $160,000 to $200,000. So obviously that's a little bit better way to go. So Alicia Shower called me today to say, how would we make this work? They were hoping that we would she suggested to me a shared service where basically Bedminster would pay for the project out of our capital account and they would reimburse us. I think our auditor might have my head if we do that. So I suggested they are a government agency just like we are. They can join the Morris County Co-op just like we do. They can use the same vendors that we have. John Mance said he's happy to help with his guys to do some of the curbing, maybe do some of the drainage, do some of the prep work, help manage the project. But to run it through our budget and have them reimburse us, I think is not the right way to go. So I know Colin had a similar conversation today with Jeff Reeves about that, and he agrees that they should probably, there's a membership fee to join Morris County Co-op. It's around $1,200 for the year. And they should just join as well, and they can deal with the contractors directly. So, you know, we're all about saving money for the residents and helping them with the project. So I'm open to any comments or questions about it. That's all I have.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Sullivan, especially on the school parking lot?
That's amazing, the difference in the price in the bids.
Well, some of the work would be done by John Manson, his crew, which would save some of the money. And then, you know, so.
So what's the next steps here? What's the next steps for the township?
When I was on the phone with Alicia, she said she was going to have Jeff Reeves reach out about the project, which he did to Colin today. I told her I was going to check with the auditor just to see if us taking on the project and then having them reimburse us was even possible. I don't know that it is. So I suggested they should just have their own membership and do the contract on their own. And we would assist in any way we can.
And that's exactly what I communicated to Jeff. He called me about 2 hours ago, described the situation, said we don't want to run through our budget. It should not be our capital program. You join the co-op and contract, and John can provide the oversight, as well as if there is any stormwater management stuff, that would be, we'd charge you back on a time and materials basis for any expenses incurred associated with that. And then they would do the striping, they would do the curbing. And he agreed. He said that's the way to go. They want to strike now while the iron's hot because they realize they've got a time frame now that they can get the job done. So it sounded like the ball's in their court to get moving and then reach back out to us when they need John to start providing some oversight.
Okay, at some point we should talk to John and just figure out what the estimate for the time and materials is, just to make sure that you know, it's something that the school's going to be comfortable with, rather than getting.
Yeah, I think he gave them a rough estimate, but he needs to give us, you know,
Right.
something a little more concrete.
And also, we would need to know the timing for this to make sure that, you know, it's going to be done at a time that John and DPW staff is not already devoted to other projects.
Right.
And, you know, while the governor, there's been sort of mixed signals coming out of Trenton as to the keeping schools closed through at least May 15th. That sort of gave some folks the indication that maybe there's a chance that schools will reopen May 15th. You know, we've since learned that was not the governor's intent. He was just essentially kicking off the decision timeline. And on a call that I had yesterday with the governor's office, there were a few mayors that were pretty adamant that their schools are closed for the year. And the reason I talk about that is because knowing that the schools will not be reopened gives the administration and the boards of ed across the state the opportunity to undertake some of these capital projects that are frankly easier to do when school's not in session. So if you know school's not in session, there are contractors out there looking to move forward. These types of contracts are all considered essential projects under Executive Order 122. So to the extent that this can be done and scheduled, you know, between the township and the Board of Ed, we should move on that if that's the direction we're going to take. One other issue that I neglected to mention is the testing facility at Raritan Valley Community College. So the numbers from this morning were for today. They had 145 registered for testing at the Raritan Valley Community Center. I'm sorry, Raritan Valley Community College testing facility. And that seems to be consistent with the numbers they had last week. I think the county's intent is to keep that program running as long as they have PPE available. I think they've have it for the rest of this week. I think it's, I'm gonna might get these days wrong. I think it's Monday Might be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But you can just go to the Somerset County Health Department to get those days. And if there are folks who are listening who want to get tested, there's just a few requirements. Is one, that you exhibit symptoms, that you have a prescription from a doctor, and that you be a Somerset or Hunterdon resident. So if you hit those three criteria, it's a drive up only. You can't park and walk through the testing facility, but all indications are that it's going smoothly. Just minutes from pulling in until the time you drive out, and 2 business days to get the test results back. Okay, returning to the agenda, discussion of introduced ordinances. We have none. Introduction of ordinances. We have none. Public hearing of ordinances. We have none. Consent agenda. We do not have a consent agenda on tonight. Resolutions. We have no resolutions tonight. Approval of the bill list. Maybe a motion to approve the bill list pending review of individual invoices, which I know all the individual invoices have already been looked at, but we will need a motion to approve the bill list.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Stevenson,
Aye.
Mr. Hickey,
Aye.
Ms. Moreski,
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez,
Aye.
Mayor Jacobs.
Aye.
Thank you.
New business. So we've got COVID-19 down here is new business. Frankly, I think we've covered most of the COVID related issues. Judy or any Township community members, anything else that you would want to put on for COVID-19 discussion?
Raman and I had a discussion today, and we spoke to the chief as well, and John Mance. We do have a shortage of masks. Currently, the police has a small stockpile, but we're going to need more if we're going to be bringing people back at some point. I don't know where we're going to get them.
Judy, I'm sorry. I'll donate. How many do you need? Because my husband can get them. Well, he has like hazmat masks, just N95 masks. So I'd be happy to do
Well,
it.
let me. I don't. We just were talking about it today as far as who needs them the most, and we're not just handing them out like candy. We need to keep them for the people that really need them. So let me get you a number.
Yep, sounds good.
I'll get you a number.
Okay. Also, Judy, please reach out to Zach Rubin at OEM, because my understanding is that the county still has the county OEM still has a fair number of masks available for distribution at the Hillsborough facility, and it may just require Zach reaching out to the county OEM to arrange for pickup.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any other COVID issues to consider under new business? Okay, old business, short-term rentals. I can't imagine much takers at this time. Engine braking, I think we'll come back to this, post-crisis. Parkman Park. Judy, has there been any discussion with the folks there, how they're doing?
Sarah Hausman in our office, who manages the senior van program, has a listing of all the seniors that are registered for the program. Not all of them go out every week, but she has been calling them on a weekly basis to make sure that they have what they need. If they have needs, they let her know. So far, we haven't had any of them to reach out, but we certainly have now the ability to make a food delivery if we needed to. We could take a township vehicle, go down to Pluckman Park or wherever the seniors might be and drop things off if needed. So we're prepared to do that. And we have been checking with them at least once a week, and they have been communicating with our office. So.
Okay, great. And thank you to Sarah for making those inquiries. JCP and all outages. Colin, I believe we've covered this already. So let's bring Mayor Bianchi back in. And New Jersey American Water rate increase, Committeeman Hickey.
Just a quick update. The second round of discovery has been filed. The due date was Friday, April 10th. After this, we'll get to file our expert testimony along with everybody else. And then presumably the settlement discussions would begin thereafter.
Okay, great. All right, that's it for old business. Next is township committee comments, and we will, you know what? We're going to mix it up.
Are we?
Hernandez.
I'm starting?
Yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to just reiterate thank you to Robin and Colin and John and Judy and everyone that has participated in organizing the food drive, and all of our residents are so awesome that donated so much food for our community. I just wanted to thank everyone for stepping up to the plate and really just helping out where they can. So that's great. Thank you so much for that. I wanted to just also send my deepest condolences to the Patterson family for the passing of Sergeant Patterson. Bedminster suffered a huge loss, and I'm very sorry for their loss. And I think that's it. So everybody wash your hands and stay safe and stay home.
Committeeman Hickey.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to echo Committeewoman Fernandez's comments, my condolences to the Patterson family. He was the nicest guy in the force, and he will be sorely, sorely missed. My only other comment is one thing I've been doing, and I'm sure others have been doing, but you know, we all have the opportunity to talk to one another on a daily basis, but there are probably friends, acquaintances, people we don't normally touch base with, and I've been trying to make a practice of just reaching out to one of them every day, just to check in. How you doing? I've got friends who are single, who are widowed, who live alone, and I just always try to just touch base with somebody, and it's a pleasant surprise. And now it's been happening to me, you know, and it's kind of nice just that we all connect as we all go through this crisis together. So just throw that out for whoever wants to pursue it as well. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Committeewoman Mareski.
Good evening, Mayor. Thank you so much. I'm going to jump on that one with Gina and Colin about saying sending my condolences to the Patterson family. He was an important member of the Hills family, as a guy that was the one who usually showed up around here to help us out. He was always there when you need him, providing some common sense support and direction. And another thank you again to all our Bedminster people helping at the food bank, especially our town hall employees, our township committee members, and our residents. It's another example of how Bedminster residents are caring and giving to all who need assistance.
Great.
And that's it. Have a good night.
Committeeman Stevenson.
Thank you, Mayor. And I, again, apologize for being tardy to the meeting. I'm glad that we all had a chance to make our statements and express our condolences to the Patterson family, which I, of course, do as well. And I just wanted to say I didn't know Sergeant Patterson all that well, but he did have an interaction with my wife, and he touched our family because she came home after making an errand run for the boys, and I mean the adult boys, and she probably was going a little too fast and got pulled over. And she came home, and normally, you know, you'd expect that she'd be upset, but she wasn't. She came in bouncing in the kitchen and said, you know, I just had the best interaction with one of our police officers. And it was Sergeant Patterson. And, you know, there was, I don't have to get into the specifics of it, but the way he interacted with Susie was exactly how you would want a police officer to interact with someone in your township. Commonsensical, pragmatic, courteous, friendly, fun-loving, and you know, you talk about the experience of getting pulled over by a police officer, and no one thinks of it as a good thing or a good event. Well, guess what? You know, that's exactly the experience that my wife had with him. And that's not the sole experience that I've been told, and I've been, you know, sort of listening into as folks who talk about him. So I've made a couple appearances here on the street with some neighbors over some noise ordinances and things. And again, pragmatic approach, didn't take anything all that seriously, because at the end of the day, we're, you know, what are we talking about here? And he just had a calm about him. And everyone that I've talked to that knew him, that interacted with him, was genuinely hurt. And you could see on their face when they heard the news, oh my goodness. And you know, as an employer, at the end of the day, it's what we are. We ask that our employees be the best face for Bedminster they can be. And that man, Sergeant Patterson, delivered time and time again. And
That's the one thing you hear throughout the common thread, is that he just got it, you know, the it. And he will be truly missed. My deepest condolences to the family. Bedminster lost one of the real good ones in Sergeant Patterson, and it's sad. And I'm sad for us. I'm sad for him and his family, and I'm sad for his children. That's all I got, man.
So thank you. And similarly, so I did have the opportunity to interact with Tariq Patterson multiple times, and always just a smile, happy to be a police officer here in Bedminster. All about community, just as Renee mentioned that, you know, he was a fixture in the hills, and we had a conversation with him about that, and he loved driving or walking through the hills, saying hi to the residents, stopping in with the shop owners and people working in the stores, and letting them know that Bedminster Police was available for them, giving them that sense of comfort and security, that knowing your police officer by name and by face, what that brings. So to the township, we lost one of the best. And that's exactly, you know, what, as a township committee person, I look for in our police officers. And that was epitomized with Sergeant Patterson. I do also want to recognize Chief Rock. I was talking to Mayor Parker about this. And so Chief Rock has buried 2 Bedminster policemen, Craig Meyer and now Sergeant Patterson. And you know, while Sergeant Patterson was in the hospital, I was on the phone with Carl every day, trying to see if he had any updates and what he could provide, and also at the same time making sure that Chief was doing okay, because that's obviously a stress on him on a number of different fronts. And certainly since his Sergeant Patterson's passing, a lot of the burden of putting everything together for today's funeral and for all the other family activities and obligations, a lot of that fell on Chief Rock. So he did a great job and pulled today's event, coordinated with the state troopers, the other police departments, the fire department, Bedminster, Far Hills, Bedminster, and Pottersville were both, the fire departments were both present and provided assistance at today's funeral. And, you know, I just want to make sure that, you know, Chief, you're doing okay. So hopefully things can quiet down for him and he'll have an opportunity to take a breath and grieve, because I don't think he's had that opportunity yet because he's been so busy. And Doug, just as you mentioned, to the family as well. And I have not lost sight that for us, this was a tragic situation. For his family, it's devastating. Twins, 2.5 years old, who will not know their father. And a 9-year-old whose memories will be, as they get older, will be fuzzy. And I don't forget that. And which is why I, you know, make sure we get copies of those resolutions. I'm sorry, the proclamation to the family, and you know, that there's enough information about what Sergeant Patterson meant to Bedminster that I hope they can appreciate that in the future. We do have an executive session tonight. We will not be taking any action from the executive session, nor will we be returning to this Zoom session. So we will, once we have a motion to adjourn, we will adjourn to executive session. Once again, we will not be returning. With that, may we have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
All right.
Okay, see you in a few. Go to the other Zoom meeting.
We'll go to the other Zoom meeting. We'll see you on the other Zoom call.
All right.